going to read it to you, because I actually typed this up on June 25th, and I did mail it to the borough secretary and our solicitor. I actually mailed it to him, which one he didn't get it until a couple of days ago, but he did get it. Dear Munhall council members and residents, I'm writing this letter today to clarify any misunderstandings concerning my vote at last month's meeting, June 19, 2013. I did indeed second the motion, as I always do after Mr. Ingles reads. This is a standard council order. However, the item in question was one that I meant to abstain from due to the conflict of interest. The agenda item in question concerning the hiring of summer workers for the Munhall Borough. My intended, abstention, that's a trade, was due to the fact that my son Austin Datillo was one of the summer workers being considered. As I attempted to correct my vote, the public commotion and outburst from the floor prevented me from being heard by the president, Mr. Joseph Morales. Once I heard Vice President Mr. Ball second the motion, because I believe he heard me trying to interrupt and correct my vote. I tried to interrupt and correct my vote. Immediately after the meeting, I went to Mr. Ballas and John Reindecker, the Munhall Borough Office Clerk, to correct the error and to make sure it was recorded properly as an abstention to item number 9 on the agenda in the monthly meetings. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. So, whatever we have to do.
And Greg, do you have something?
Yeah, I do, yeah, and Dana called me about this, and I apologize. Normally, I would recognize that situation and immediately speak up as well, but there was a lot of commotion at the meeting last month, and I was here, and there was no doubt about that. A lot of people talking simultaneously, it was hard to hear at times. But she called me immediately with a concern, and this was my suggestion how she would correct this, that she write a letter. She did attempt to do so after, but make the correction, but the meeting had been adjourned. So officially, the minutes were done and have been recorded as John had heard. I said, write this letter, read it to the public, ask that this be made a permanent part of the borough records. And I had also indicated to her that it would be not necessary to conduct another vote because it was a unanimous vote anyway, so that her vote wasn't necessary to carry the motion. So this is my suggestion on how to legally correct it, and I stand by the advice that I gave her, and this should be made a permanent part of the borough records in support of what she was stating.
I can attest to that. Just like Dana said, I heard Dana make the second. We see John sits over there. There was some noise. And I leaned over and I said, Dana, I got this one.
Right.
And I seconded it, and that, was never picked up, apparently. But I know some people here.
Okay, so moving on to number 8. Need someone to read this?
Move to approve the June 19, 2013 regular meeting minutes of council.
We have a motion. And a second. Comments? Questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Report from borough officials. Mayor.
Thank you. Once again, I want to thank CEO John Dempster and Roseanne Saunders for coming up and saying hello. It's nice.
We received a compliance audit report from the Pennsylvania Auditor General and had some potential issues involving Act 600, and it's my recommendation that council authorize this report, these findings, to be sent to our actuary to have an analysis done by them as our actuary or expert to give us their recommendations and advice about what we need to do so that we can act on this and make any corrections that may be necessary. So I would.
We need to have a motion for that.
Yes.
Our actuary is marking up.
Yes. Motion to, allow, to forward the audit report to Munhall for their review and recommendations with regard to Act 600 and any suggestions for any potential compliance issues.
That would be the 2011, 2012 report.
Well, this is a report dated. It's For the period of January 1, 2009 to December 31, 2011.
January 1,
Should that be forwarded to PNC also, since they're the investment party?
Yeah, that's a good
Both of them,
idea.
yeah, blocking
No,
off
because
PNC.
even some of the findings seem to be inconsistent with even recent
Exactly.
reports we received from the pension committee, so there's some confusion there. And we just want to bring all of our expert analysts together to review this and put our heads together and just get everything in order.
We definitely have to get a meeting together with all these people.
Hey, Dan, are you writing that one down? You want to read that one? Because I saw you writing, that's all I wanted to know.
I wrote it down,
I saw you writing, that's why I stopped.
shorthand.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Craig?
Yeah, and speaking of the Auditor General, I did report on this previously. A man named Marty Bergen contacted me about police pension monies that were actually stolen from the son of a deceased widow of a deceased police officer that are retired, and they're looking into this information. I don't know, it dates back to 2008. It was Anna Marie Costco, who was a widow, receiving a widow's pension benefit on behalf of her retired deceased husband, who served as a police officer for her many years ago. And she died in Texas, and she had direct deposit. And the police widow's pension benefit was being direct deposited in the account. The son was a joint owner on the account. The son converted the money, and it took a while before we discovered this, and he was supposed to be prosecuted criminally. This is old news. We discussed this probably years ago. And they're asking for the information, so I sent it to them. So of course, we cooperated.